you characterized Alissa Sherry's reports as defamatory, almost used as blackmail. They traumatize people, character assassination. These reports and the testimony that people are allowed to give and face no consequence for perjury can have a lifelong impact on you.
And your children.
And your children. And I mean, I am glad that it's almost like these things are done to silence you, and then even if you do speak, you're discredited right from the get-go.
Well, I think the judiciary is also partly responsible for it, and that one of the things that comes to mind is the appellate case in the 3rd District of Copeland, if I pronounce that correctly. And basically it just involved a case in which there was a child custody evaluator, Dr. Thorne, who threw out opinions, and the plaintiff in the case basically said that, you know, the facts that are stated in this custody report are false. They're not supported by the documentation, and they had their own expert take a look at the report. And the other expert basically critiqued the other report, which is called work product review, and criticized the report as invalid, recommended that it should not be used by the jury for any decision making. And the way it turned out was the appellate court said, well, you can't have another expert do a work product review because that expert, even if they were not there to do a child custody evaluator, cannot critique the report. And so the second expert opinion cannot be used to critique the original report.
That's ridiculous.
There was a stipulation, though, that the appellant, the plaintiff, had to show that there was irreversible damage, that basically he couldn't use the second opinion for cross-examination, or couldn't use the second opinion for a Daubert challenge, or wouldn't be able to use the second opinion for a deposition. But that decision by the appellate court can be taken so broadly that in other civil law cases or other realms of civil law, it would be usual and ordinary for the opposing side to have their own expert to evaluate the original expert's report, criticize it, you know, so each side has their own expert in the process of cross-examination. But somehow magically in this realm of family law, when you have these child custody experts creating this report, the work product review by other experts is not being allowed, so there's no accountability, you know, the original expert. But this can be broadly interpreted, and it shouldn't be broadly interpreted.
You know, experts can be found to defend anything.
Experts can be found to defend anything. So, but the idea of the work product review, not permitting that, to me seems that if it now gives a custody evaluator, child custody evaluator, the ability to submit fraudulent, biased reports. Taken at face value, without proper scrutiny, without proper cross-exam, without proper challenge of it, and just be accepted on face value, which has tremendous impact upon the child, the parent-child relationship, not to mention constitutional issues of association, freedom of speech.
And therefore you might have a judge who was a former family attorney hire the same person because I want to have this opinion. And the child custody, what would you like me to say? I'll write it in. I'll find the facts. So I mean,
I'll find some facts.
It looks as if to me like this inability to review a product encourages perjury, encourages corruption, encourages fraud. And when it comes down to work product review, I'm going to transition a little bit here after, if you want to answer this. But I also think that that's another reason why we should have our court hearings online and archived, so that in a situation like what you're talking about, you can say, look, this does not seem right. And you have your friends, you have peers, you have other experts review what took place in the court. Because immediately they shut it off if they broadcast it at all, and then they take it down. And I just think the word product review has a lot broader ramifications than just this, but I'll let you continue on and comment about.
Well, in terms of work product reviews, several of the experts have reviewed Dr. Sherry's reports on several different cases.
Right.
And found several faults.
Just
basically,
several?
Just, yeah, highly criticized her reports and recommended that her reports not be used in the litigation or as a decision-making basis in front of juries at all.
No, I've seen some of those comments.
Yeah.
I mean, this would be like catastrophic errors.
Right, right. But I think, there's possibility of endangerment of a child in this situation.
Right.
Because of fraudulent report, not paying attention to what needs to be paid attention to with the other parent. And in the cases I have the opportunity to speak with it, it's a commonplace.
So David, let me